Hey guys, welcome on back to the AnKorage where everything is awesome, and I need to do at least one more video. I've been adding videos, unboxings, reviews of the Ghostbusters Plasma Series 2 in the box, Ghost Trap and PKE meter to the playlist, and I'm seeing things that I feel I need to address, but at the same time, it's just to have some extra content. But mainly it's to kind of address certain things because I'm seeing things that are odd, or I watch it and I'm just like, oh my god, why? Whoa. Anyways, next up on Buster Quest. Hey guys, welcome on back. And yeah, I've been adding videos to the Buster Quest playlist regarding the additional unboxings and reviews, I guess we could call it. I don't know. But these folks, you know, some of them are just so excited that they got delivered that they need to unbox it right there. And that is fantastic. And I think they should. But at the same time, there's on a few of them, there's a lot of obviousness to it where they didn't do their homework and they haven't watched other videos, whether it be other folks or Adam Savage's on Tested or anything like that, or even any additional videos like the Q&A from the Haslab group or the you know, the project group, project managers at Hasbro regarding Two in the Box, and you know, and it shows really it's like out there. You know, I seen one guy saying, well, I don't know what this does, I don't know what that does, or I think this is what it does, or I know this is supposed to do something or something like that, and I really need to. I felt like I really needed to address this and kind of give an additional honest review of different things. So in this video, we're going to focus on the PKE meter. And what I've decided to do was I'm going to bring a second camera into it, which I actually have up and running, if I can get that selected. And we're actually, you know, and I'm using my cell phone because, you know, I was going to use this one, but the autofocus is crazy, and there's no way on either phone to select a manual focus. So I have to use my good one, which is my newer one. I've got it all set up right here. You can't see it, maybe the edge of this piece right here, but I've got my little extra studio lights. I've got one right over there, and I've got one right here, and I'm going to turn those on, and it does the job for me here looking at OBS. I mean, it looks perfectly fine. I just don't know how it's going to come out in the release version of it, and playing it on my TV and everything, stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and release it, and you know, it is what it is, and there we go. So why don't I pause this here for a second, get these lights on, because you get an artifact, a lighting artifact in this area, and you get one over here. So I'm going to pause the recording, get those turned on, and change the view to my cell phone right here, and it's going to be showing directly in front of me, right in front of my keyboard. I've pushed it back out of the way, and so we're going to do that. So let's do it. All right, so here we are, and here is the PKE meter. I hope you can see that all right. The autofocus is a lot better on this cell phone, so we're just going to go ahead and use that. I've got it wirelessly connected to the computer through my Wi-Fi. And there we go. So here's the PKE meter. Now, let's see. If I grab my ruler out of my desk and we measure it, it's about just shy of 11 inches. So there we go. There's that. And it's nice and thick. So let's do some visual review pieces. One is this, it sticks out like a sore thumb. It's these things, the wings. They are far too wide. Now, Emily mentioned in the Q&A a year ago that these were going to be narrowed, and yeah, well, the honest review is that's good and everything, but it's not enough. So these LEDs are a little too wide. They need to be just a little bit, probably about somewhere between 5 and 10% narrower. Really not much narrower, but the width of these wings, they need to be a lot thinner because the actual prop, it's very, very thin. And I wanted these wings, I suggested that they be metal, and they're not. They're plastic, which, you know, is a toy company. It is what it is. There you go. So I see an aftermarket type thing being made on like Etsy and stuff like that. This is the switch guard for taser mode, you know, and it's got good resistance to it. So, you know, it does take a little bit of effort, not much, but, you know, it is kind of loose in there, but it's tight enough so it doesn't just flop around. My issue with it is that there's nothing in there to give it a pop kind of, you know, it just slides. You know, I would like something with enough resistance where you would have to put more pressure on it and then it gives, you know, like the ones in, the ones that exist in aircraft and other things like that. Boom, you know, not just something that's just one tension and it just slides. Something where it gives you a little resistance and you have to thunk it out more or less. You know, it kind of pops off, that kind of thing. You know, the details on the back are really good. The serial number for the device is stamped on and it's right here underneath the actual switch. I'm not going to throw it, but it's like right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it is, mine is 42641. Now here's the funny thing. Now I mentioned in the previous video that the serial numbers on the boxes, you know, they should be, you know, they're different, you know. So my trap is 42631 and my PKE meter is 42641. Now here's the funny thing. A video that I just saw yesterday, and it's added to the playlist, is the trap, the corresponding trap that goes along with this PKE meter is serial number 42641. So that guy has the trap that goes with this PKE meter. That is just funny. So I wonder who's got the PKE meter for 42631. That, yeah. And, you know, this 42 here, that's just 24 backwards. Completely pointless to do that, but there it is. All right. So, you know, in essence, like I was saying in the previous video, that, you know, the set, you know, the pair as a whole is worth more because the serial numbers are different. If you were to bring it to somewhere to sell, let's say like a pawn shop or a dealer or something like that, and they give that thing, they'd be like, well, no, it's not worth more because they're not the same. Well, they are worth more because this is Hasbro's fault. It's a manufacturer error. So there we go. Back to this. Weathering. They did a fantastic job with the weathering. You know, so it's like, you know, you've got your main black plastic housing, which is great, and then it's just accented with some dry brushing on edges. And it looks really good. It's like that. The one downfall is is that it's not the proper way to add weathering, which is you put it on and it's on. It's dry brushed, so it's it's on there, but it hasn't been taken back. In other words, you didn't take anything like a rag or something and just kind of tap at it to kind of remove a little bit of it to give it that full weathered look. Each mark. So this is put on and it's done nicely, but it wasn't taken back. So it was only halfway done. So, but we'll give it credit that, what is there is really good. So, all right. So let's get into some of the functionality. Well, the battery case or the battery compartment is here on the back of the handle. And it's got a captive like screw right here. You undo that, you pop that out, and you've got 1, 2, 3. So it's not in like a pyramid form where you've got 2 and then 1 in the center. You've got 1 here and then you got 2 on this side. And that's fine. And there's a nice ribbon there so that you can get the bottom one out. You can pull on it and it pops that out. So that's good on Hasbro for doing that. And of course you got some more, your typical legal stuff right there. And looks like we've got, it doesn't look like we've got screws here, but looks like these might be screw caps. Like say I'll point at that one right there. That looks like to be a screw cap that pops out. So for makers, it looks like it's being done. And Emily mentioned last year at the Q&A particularly that these have been made with makers in mind. In other words, there's going to be modification kits, stuff like that. They're going to be on sale on sites like Etsy and GB Fans or who knows what. And it looks pretty good. Now the details on here. Let me get the mouse out of the way. We've got that. Here's the rocker switch, and it it goes like that. That's mute, and then all the way over is high ionization. So I'm going to stick it here. Now, of course, it just turned on, so I'm going to shut it back off. The power switches, right here. It may not come into focus. And of course, I've only got so much space on here, so I have to hold it off to the side. But, it's a rocker switch. Off is all the way to the right. Mode 1, which is EMF mode, which is in the center. And then 2, which is far to the left, is your regular play mode where you can actually move things around on your own. And then you've got a 1/4 screw, recessed screw attachment area, so you can mount this on, like a tripod or something with a 1/4 screw on it and stuff like that. I don't really see a point for this edition, but I get it. And some people will say, well, what's a 1/4? It's a 1/4 inch wide and there's 20 threads, or a 1/4 inch and 20 thread style. May not actually be 20 threads because I'm looking in there and it doesn't look like 20 threads, but it's possibly 10 threads. So a 1/4-10, we'll call it, stuff like that. All right, and then moving on down into the main head area of it here. These are, it looks like this could be, like a conductive, like it would be pressed, or it would be considered a complete circuit if it conducted electricity from the bottom to the top on both sets of these. Excuse my keyboard. Push that back. But these ones are just straight up buttons that are just poking through 2 holes, and that's fine. I push on this one and it turns on. This one will actually, this is kind of like an activate. This is also a down button, and this one is an up button. See? This one is like an off. This one is to activate a pre-written recorded animation sequence. So if I press on it, see if I can get it to go active. Let me get you on. Come on. Get on here. There you are. If I press on it now, see, It's doing everything on its own. So it's like a demo mode of sorts. So that's cool. Bring it back in, and there it is. And of course I hit that again, and it should shut off. But there we go. So that's pretty cool. And here is the animation. So if I bring it all the way to the left, we get sound, and it can be heard. And it's for low ionization, which means, we've got a slow animation up in here. And there's a little bit of a grid on here, which is really nice to see. And it's not like in your face or anything, and it's not like all completely bright. It's accurate to the prop. So you've got a number of different LEDs that comes through. And then you've got the lights here, and here, and here. That basically means on. I'm basically taking it as that. This will let you know you're on the left. This one will let you know you're on the right. And if I switch over to the right, the green comes on, and we see that the animation changed, and it's going in that direction. So it's going down. So that's good. I'm going to put it back into mute cell because I want to demonstrate it more and not have that annoying sound playing. In regards to the lights on the wings. Now, last year with their prototypes and stuff like that, these were all lighting up in sequence. So just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I mentioned that, it should be random to match the behavior of the prop. And then I saw Adam Savage's video where their programming model actually had the randomness going on. So I knew that was coming. And of course, that was a year ago. So with, I can't remember if it was with Zach or not. But there we are. And so if we tap on the up, of course, it doesn't catch it right away. Sometimes it takes a couple times. Okay, that's up. Right is up. I keep forgetting that. Right is up, left is down. And it comes out. All right, so if I close it up and I hit up, if I just briefly tap it, it goes up almost like halfway. All right. Tap it a little more, get a little more, tap it again. You kind of get a little bit of minute, very minute adjustments and stuff like that. Now, the original prop, it's radio controlled with something with a dial, and I mean it is, you do it really slow, and these come up slow, and if it goes really fast, it comes up really fast, that kind of thing. And I mean, it very fine, detailed movement, stuff like that. This thing doesn't necessarily have that. It just, I mean, you tap up and it goes halfway. You kind of have minute control, but you really kind of don't. But one good thing regarding this control is, you've got this, the speed of the randomness will increase the further up it goes. And if it's fully outstretched, it goes nuts, just like on the prop. And there we go. So that looks really good. And also the speed of the sound will increase as well. So there you go. And so if I go ahead and I put the sound on, I'm going to initiate taser mode. So I'm going to throw that up. I'm going to get ready to push this forward, which will kick off the taser mode. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this on like that. And then I'm going to throw it. All right. So we see that action. Get that double hinge effect here. If I put it back, and I'll do it again. I want you to watch for the bounce. Of course, that bounced back. Come on. Oh, jeez. Come on, you. All right. Okay. Sorry, I had a little flub up there for a second. All right, so we're going to kick off taser mode again. I want you to watch the bounce. Yeah. Okay. That just shows that the springs that are used are not overly strong. They get the job done and that's it. They bounce. Now in the original prop, there is no bounce. It just flies out and snaps right to the spot. That's what I was going to expect, because collectors would want that to be like that. People that want prop accurate behaviors. And this does not have that prop accurate behavior. So, but it gets the job done. It throws them out there. We've got the double hinge effect going on, and we have the animation where all of the LEDs turn red. These ones turn red. Of course, those ones stay as they are. And then we get these red LEDs in here that turn red to do that, to let you know, hey, something's going on. And we get some good, sound animation. There's that. And of course, the light in the top up here gives that. That's when you tap the buttons. And when you hold the buttons, there's your taser effect. And that goes along with these nibs right here. Now, in one of my previous videos from earlier in the year, way back at the beginning, I mentioned that these should be metal and they should be a separate piece to what's going on in here. Well, of course, that's an extra investment in making sure you've got that accurateness, or accuracy, I should say. And of course, did they cheap out on it? Yeah, as far as, but of course, this would probably be a little more expensive as a result of that. And also on the wings, I mentioned that these lights should have, a little piece of something to kind of separate it from, to kind of, make it stand out, make it pop. And they didn't do that, to make it look like there was like a, like a little ring or a grommet or something to show, just to help it accent the fact that there's a light here. And so with it currently set up the way that it is, just says, hey, I'm a toy that much more. So makers may want to put that in, consider that when they're making their own wings and such. So, but overall, this is really, really good. It is very, very accurate, but it's not quite accurate. So, it's not a one-to-one accurate 100%, but it is very good, and I do enjoy it. And to put these back down, you have to do them one at a time, like that, and then do the same thing on the other side, and then it'll close. Of course, that let go because I didn't do it enough. Close that. You're down. You're down. Why do you keep bouncing up? That one keeps popping up. I'm gonna have to look at that. The switch is probably loose or something, so I'm gonna have to look at that. Come on. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Okay, it's in. All right. Yeah, that might be a slight issue. Maybe a slight adjustment to get that right. I did it right and it didn't catch. So let's try it this way one more time. Stop it. Okay. It held. All right. And one more time. Bring down the switch guard. Bring this down. It's holding. Bring this one down. It's holding. All right, it's holding. Good. We're good. All right. Never mind. So there we go. So there's my honest review. And there we go. So I hope you like it. I like it. And I hope it's bright enough. So, yes, because of my lighting. But it is what it is. And I've only got so much, so many resources to work with. So there we go. All right, there we go. That's my review on this guy. I just shut off the lights and then, you know, here's the phone that I was using to record all of that right here in front of me. And here's the PKE meter. I haven't moved or anything. So, yeah, this thing is, I mean, it's a fabulous job. Hasbro did a very, very good job on this. What's my review, a grade on it? Let's see, I'll do it on two. I'll give a letter grade and I'll also do one on 1 to 10 scale. So my 1 to 10 scale, I give this an 8. This is an 8. Because of those couple of issues that I mentioned. On a letter grade scale, you know, A down to F or E or whatever, I give it a B+. So there you go. It's an 8, B+. Because of those issues on there. So they did a very good job on this. You know, and, you know, they did scan the original prop. So in the same manner that they did the proton pack back here. You know, so it's really good. It is a 1-to-1 scale. I don't want to say replica, but it's kind of like a replica. So it's kind of a replica. Yeah. The body is basically a proper replica. The plastic is nice and stiff, and it's very good. On the stand that they sent for it. Here's the stand here. You see that, and you get the No Ghost logo right there, and it does come in two parts. There's the base. There's the top, and you know, it follows the same styling as the stand for the Neutrino wand. Now the plastic for that is really flimsy. I mean, you could twist it like crazy. This one, I mean, there's not much really to work with. It feels, as I'm twisting this, it feels similar in quality of the plastic, but it does also feel like it's a little more rigid plastic. It's got a lot more rigid, you know, it's a lot more rigid. So, and also, but it's also only this big. So it's, you know, because there's not as much plastic being used, it's naturally going to seem a lot more dense. And then this piece here, this is actually a better piece. This is kind of like similar to the Neutrino wand pieces, and just goes into there. And when this gets put onto it, it actually kind of snaps in, maybe. It's got an area here that, yeah, shut you off. That shut you all the way off. There we go. All right. So when you have it, the base of it, the recessed base fits that exactly, which is good. And then these pieces here, they snugly hold on to the sides, and then you kind of have to go like this. It kind of snaps on, and it really grabs on, and that's really good. So to have this in that stand, it works out very well, and I very much enjoy it. The holster, which I'm keeping on that shelf behind the trap there. And, you know, this is it. It is pleather. I mentioned that it probably should be real leather, ideally. But if it's pleather, then it needs to be thick. I'm looking at it, and it's only about 1 millimeter thick, which is kind of all right. You know, I'd want it. You know, I said it should be like 2, maybe even 3. The thicker, the better. It's really not. the back portion, this portion here is pretty thick. That's about 1.5 millimeters. That's much better. But this portion here and this portion is only about 1 millimeter. And yeah, it's not all that great. It should be thicker. So makers, I'm sure there's going to be something much better to come out. It's the snaps on it, you know, these rivets of sorts, you know, these they're not pop rivets. There's a name for it, but I can't think of it right now. But the snap is really good. You really have to give it some, you know, you have to give it a good amount of force to get it to come undone. And it snaps on nice and easy. It's got a good glide to it. It's very good. And, you know, it holds this thing really well. When you slide it in, and just like I mentioned in the previous video, this is all very, very smooth. And, you know, of course, it's tapered down to make sure that it just doesn't slide out the bottom. It's tapered and everything. And the one issue is that when you put it in, this effect where it causes this indentation here, and that's where I mentioned, you know, time will tell. So if you leave this thing in here all the time, over time it is going to weaken this, and this top layer of the pleather is going to weaken, crack, and break off. So my recommendation is only use it when you absolutely have to, you know, and otherwise, you know, you just keep it, store it someplace like I'm going to. I'm only going to use it when I absolutely have to, which is hardly ever. Maybe once a year. And that will extend its life and stuff like that. So, yeah. And it doesn't change the grades of it or anything like that. You know, the 8 or the B plus doesn't change it because it's all part of the same package. It's the entire thing. Both things. That trap, this PKE meter is a single SKU. Excuse me. And so, but this is just one of the 2 items, and it gets that 1 grade. So B plus, an 8. So there we go. Thank you very much for coming along, and we will talk to you later. So thank you very much. Comment, like, and subscribe. Skål, and drink to victory.